What's up, everybody? It's Joe from Empire Music, empiremusic.com in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've got a special guest with me, Taylor Guitars District Sales Manager, Mike Venezia. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
As you guys know, we are a Taylor Guitars online preferred dealer, only one of a handful in the world. We get great guitars, we bring them to you first. And Mike came all the way out from San Diego to tell you about a new launch today, the Taylor new 400 series.
That is correct. We've done a refresh on our new 400 series. You're going to find some familiar things and some new things in this series. And how do you want to do this, Joe? You want to just go through the models first, or what we've done to change things up?
I think what we'll do is we're going to talk about the line. There's a new body size, a new body shape that got lined up. You know you can find them at empiremusic.com. You know we do full factory setups. And Taylor's running a sick promo right now, 0%, 36 months. So let's first talk about, I think, just the aesthetic changes, because really that's at the core. Let's talk about what the guitars are, the tone woods that are involved, what's new about them, and then we'll talk about the body shapes, because I think that's the big point is the new body shape.
Yeah. So let's go all the way back to an origin story. When we first were talking about the 400 series well back, that was where we introduced oven coal to the world. And over time, oven coal became very, very popular, not just with guitar makers, but also with furniture makers. And so after a while, oven coal became very hard to get. At first, it was very easy to get. Now it became much harder to get. So we added rosewood as a component to run alongside oven coal. So we had an oven coal 400 series, rosewood 400 series. Then we dropped the oven coal off altogether, which leaves us with a spruce rosewood guitar. So we did that exclusively for the past number of years, and that's where it stands today. As the 400 series, you're getting a Sitka spruce top with East Indian rosewood sides and back. So that didn't change at all. What did change is the way these guitars look. So you're going to notice right away that there are sunbursts on all these guitars. It's a tobacco sunburst that looks absolutely stunning on those tops. But then also we added a different inlay package. And this inlay is a new design called the finial inlay that's done in Italian acrylic. So it is a very artistic look, but a modern look, kind of offsetting the more traditional burst look of the body. So you have a little bit of the best of all worlds, if you will. You have a classic tone wood pairing with the spruce and rosewood. You have a traditional burst look paired up with a modern inlay. So you have a little bit of everything going on with these guitars.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. They're absolutely gorgeous. Spruce rosewood is probably the most iconic tone wood combination, I think, is like guitar players. I always say, if you're going to start a guitar company tomorrow, the first combination of woods you'd build would be a spruce rosewood design.
True.
These are great because they're a very gettable way. You know, Taylor guitars aren't inexpensive. They're not impossible to get, but this is the entry point to an all solid wood USA made guitar. So made in El Cajon, California. The tone woods, I mean, the rosewood that Taylor gets is phenomenal at this price point. It's really, really great. Let's talk about the body shapes, because what's new and what I want to focus on here is the new 417E. Taylor brought out the Grand Pacific body shape, which is their slope shoulder dreadnought. When did that debut?
Originally that debuted, I believe, was in 2019. With our Builder's Edition 517E and 717E. Right. And again, as Joe said, it's our take on a slope shoulder dreadnought. It combines more of a traditional look, again, with a more modern sound. So again, it's something where we've taken that traditional dreadnought shape, gave it a little bit of a Taylor spin, gave it the Taylor sound, and here it is today. So in the 400 series, what we've done for the past few years is just run the Grand Concert version and the Grand Auditorium version, the 412 CE and the 414 CE. But now, in the newly refreshed 400 series, we have the 417E. So we did introduce a Grand Pacific component to the 400 series. That's going to give you that, for people that like that bigger dreadnought-esque type of tone, an option in an accessible price point that's spruce and rosewood. So you're getting more of that traditional shape with more of that projection you get from a dreadnought guitar with the Taylor spin on the tone in a nice, lovely package that looks good, sounds good, easy to play. And that's what really Taylor's known for, is the ease of play on all of our guitars.
For sure. We were talking earlier, and the Grand Pacifics, when it came out, I think everybody was trying to figure out what to do with it. And it's, 2019 to now, 4 years. I feel like here at Empire, we have now gotten a handle on how to, I think, approach it. It's not necessarily the classic tone of the brands that have been around for a million years, but you do get that sonic profile in Taylor's package. With the V-Class bracing, you get unbelievable definition. I think Taylor, if I had to pick a strong suit of Taylor guitars, sonically, it's the note separation and the clarity. When you play a Taylor guitar, I don't care what body shape it is, it's the biggest body shape. You get 6 beautiful strings that work together that you can hear individually. But when you go to the smallest body shape, you still get a bass response that is present and apparent. And I think in a lot of brands, you have to choose kind of either or. Hey, I want that big thump, but I'm going to lose my clarity, which is very frustrating. If you play live or you record guitars, it's a kiss of death. I call those thumpy guitars porch guitars. They're cool on your porch.
Yeah.
You strum the C and the G, and you get that kind of droning bass, but everything else is kind of sludge. Or you go small and it sounds brassy. And the V-Class, this is just a quick aside, brightness in guitars, V-Class has really rounded out the Taylor sound. And it's cool because this was definitely missing in the Taylor lineup, because now we have a guitar for every style of guitar player. With the Grand Concert, and I want to kind of talk about how Spruce and Rosewood works generically, and then in each body shape. So let's talk about, first of all, what should the player expect from a Spruce Rosewood combination?
Well, the Spruce Rosewood combination guitar is really, I hate to pigeonhole, but generally speaking, you think of it as the singer-songwriter tone pairing. And why do I say that? Because Spruce is born to be the top of a guitar, right? Its strength to weight ratio is very, very high. So it's able to flex and throw sound in a very efficient manner, very loud manner. Therefore, it projects further, it fills a wider swath of the audience. That's why it's born to be the top of a guitar. Rosewood is going to give you a scooped mid-range. So if we look at the EQ, you got treble over here and bass over here. It gives you a scoop like this, gives you a smile essentially. I'm exaggerating, but that's kind of what it does. So the reason why we call it the singer-songwriter guitar is because your voice is mid-range. The tone wood, the Rosewood tone wood with that scoop allows for the voice to fit right in the middle.
100%.
It doesn't get in the way of the guitar, and the guitar's not fighting for supremacy with the voice. Everything fits. So your voice is filling in the sonic spectrum. So that's what you're going to get from a Spruce Rosewood guitar. It's that classic tone wood pairing for singer-songwriters. All I need to say is one name, James Taylor. Like if you just think of James Taylor and his guitar sound and how he sings, there it is right there. It's that Spruce Rosewood guitar with that lovely dulcet tone of his vocal that fits right in the middle. So that's what you're going to get from a 30,000 foot view of the tone woods of these guitars. Now, you mentioned shapes, all right? Each one of these is going to do something a little bit different, and we always say at Taylor, there's a shape and tone wood pairing that sets you up to win. So the third part of the tone equation is you, right? Every person has their own distinct style. If I handed you this 412 CE, you played it, and then I played it, we're both going to make it sound different. It might not suit both of us. It might not suit either of us, depending on our styles. So that's why we make many different shapes at Taylor. So let's take you through what these three will do.
For sure.
Again, taking into account that the Spruce Rosewood guitar is going to give you that scooped mid, right? They're all going to do different variations of that because that tone wood pairing is static across all three. The size does change, and the scale changes on these guitars too. So starting with the 412 CE, that's a Grand Concert shape. That was, at one time, our smallest full-size body shape. It's now the second smallest, because now we have our Grand Theater. But this guitar also has a shorter scale. It's a 24 7/8 inch scale, compared to 25.5 on the other two guitars. When you have a smaller body, you have a top that's smaller, therefore, it takes less vibration for it to go, all right? Essentially, if you want to look at it that way, it takes less effort to reach maximum potential. However, its maximum potential ceiling is a little bit lower, and that's sheerly because of physics.
For sure.
Right? So if you have a 2-ton hammer for a fist, this shape is probably not for you. You will overdrive it. But if you're a moderate strummer, if you're a light finger picker, if you're a light strummer, this guitar is custom built for you for those applications because it comes alive with a lighter touch. You don't need to work as hard. And if you don't have to work as hard, your technique's not suffering.
For sure.
So that's where the Grand Concert fits in.
And also, I think feel-wise, right? If you're like somebody that is fights those bar chords in the first position.
Yeah.
You know, the shorter scale is going to give you a slinkier feel. And the shorter scale also gives us a little bit more bottom end, right? Like, as opposed to if we did a full scale. If we did a full scale, 25.5 on a grand concert, it'd be a tighter string, brighter bottom end. So here they're thinking of your sonic profile being fatter, and they're thinking of the feel being more relaxed as a player. I will say, I think Taylor always does the anomalies better. Like when you have a small guitar with Taylor and you play it a little bit harder, it actually handles that better than most brands. And I think the big guitars with a light touch surprisingly respond better because I think you'll notice in the bracing pattern, the thinness of the tops, the quality of wood that you're using allows for more response. So I think every Taylor guitar owns a grand concert.
They're great guitars. I mean, I love all of our shapes. I'm biased, but I love all of our shapes. The thing about the grand concert that I do like also is if you record, you could put a microphone anywhere near this guitar and it's going to sound great because it has a narrower EQ because it is a little bit smaller. So it's a little bit more focused. Therefore, it's easier to record with, bar none. So if you're using a microphone, great. Record with a grand concert all day long. Now let's move on to our grand auditorium. Now this is the shape that Taylor's known for. That is the grand auditorium shape. So this is a 414 CE. And again, spruce rosewood, same tone wood pairing, but now we've made the body a little bit bigger. The scale is a little bit longer. And you mentioned earlier what that does. It means that the string is a little tighter. So you're going to get a little more pop out of it. It's a little, because the string travel is longer, tuning it to pitch gives more tension on the string. Sure. So it's a little tighter, a little more pop when you play it, a little more snap when you play it, right? That's what we like in standard scale instruments, what we're used to hearing in standard scale instruments. Now, what a grand auditorium is going to do is it's going to give you more because it is bigger. But we call this jack of all trades of shapes because it does strumming well, especially if you're going to get up on it a bit, it'll take more. If you're a finger picker, you can get a really wonderful sound out of it. It does everything really, really well. It's multi-purpose. And that's why this shape is done so well for us, because it works in pretty much every application.
Yeah, if you had to have one guitar, this is the shape that really does it. Also, it's cool because if you're not like 6'5" and you want a little bit bigger sound, but you don't feel comfortable holding a dreadnought, it's bulky and it's uncomfortable to you, this is a guitar you can still sit on the couch, you know, get in your big, like, comfy chair and play because it doesn't envelop you. It still feels narrow at the waist, narrow at the shoulders, and kind of like the broad part of the guitar is almost behind you when you hold it, so it doesn't like give you that uncomfortable kind of like boxy feel in your hands. And the beauty of Taylor is even when you go to a full scale, even when we have that and we do have more string tension, Taylor has a neck design, which there's tons of video and content about out there, that allows us to really dial this action in much lower.
Oh, yeah.
So it's gonna be just extremely easy to play.
And it's pretty low out of the box.
Oh, it's absolutely, you know, it's like they're just, what I'm getting at is like at the factory, you guys can design this to be lower than we'd expect from other brands. True. It's just like, that's the kind of the beauty of it. And also, just for what it's worth, is with basic humidity and taking care of your guitar, 10 years from now, this guitar should still play like it does today, which makes it really unique to the market. Yep. Now let's talk about the big boy.
Yeah, so yes, with the refresh of the 400 series, we decided to add another shape into the 400 series. So for years, again, we've had the 412 CE, the 414 CE, but now we've added our Grand Pacific shape. So this is a 417E. And again, this is Taylor's take on a round shoulder dreadnought. So it's going to give you that kind of traditional look, but with all the Taylor feel and sound. So again, it has our twist on it. What it's going to do differently from other similar body shapes that you've seen, that muddiness that you find in the low mid most of the time is not there.
At all.
It is far more articulate, it's clean, but it still has a great low end.
Absolutely.
So if you're more of a traditional, heavy-handed, big strummer, play with a big pick and just pound away, this is where you want to be. It's going to give you all of that volume and sound and projection that you expect out of a larger body guitar.
100%. The bass response on these is great because it doesn't swallow the rest of your sound. It doesn't sound all garbled. So you can really, if you do want to get that big push of tone out, I kind of always think of these, like what Taylor does special, is like a big grand piano, because those big notes at the bottom, while they're robust and they fill the space, they don't get all jumbled up. It's like I said, Taylor's specialty, I think, is in the clarity of their instruments and the really each note having a voice and each string having a voice, which is awesome. So what you need to know, the Taylor 400 series is revamped with the beautiful new physical cosmetic features, new inlay, the tobacco sunburst, just a new body shape, the 417. You know you can find them at empiremusic.com. You know Mike Venezia came out here because he's here to make sure we get great guitars for you, and we send out guitars with full factory setups. So you can go right to the site, you can chat with us on the site, you can text me directly on my cell phone, just like Mike does when he is looking for an order, 412-915-7118. Exact photos of every single guitar by serial number right on the site. Be dialed in. We have 0% financing, 36 months right now running on Taylor. You can check it out. Go to the site, subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a call about anything Taylor Guitars. Mike, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having
Taylor
me.
Guitars. All right, it's Joe from Empire Music. Thanks for watching.